The decision to build a CNC woodworking machine was all part and parcel of my blind enthusiasm towards my dream goal, and that ignored the fact that CNC woodworking is actually going to absorb a lot of time. But I'll tell you now, I'm determined once my machine is built that I'm going to look for shortcuts such as using a scanning probe instead of complex CAD and CAM software for creating the G-codes. But I'll come to that in a later video. I'm sure by the time I've completed my machine, the software experts will have come up with something a lot quicker. So at this stage, I'll remain optimistic. After much online research, I made a good choice with this British CNC kit, which, as I mentioned in the first part of this series, has a thriving open source community. And one endearing feature is the modest advertising and avoidance of what has become the latest advertising cliche. Set up this gizmo in under 2 minutes. I'm referring, of course, to the many adverts bombarding Facebook for website design that almost insults the intelligence that there are some amongst us who have more attention span than a few seconds. Woodworkers already know that patience is an absolute necessity for success. So, this adventure into CNC is a commitment. Fortunately, I found a younger accomplice locally to help me with my build for an hour or so a week. This video focuses on the build to date of my Ooznest Workbee, which is up to the stage of doing the electrics, so it's what's called the mechanical build stage. It's a lovely piece of kit, very well engineered and well packaged, with a myriad of tiny parts all labelled. I soon discovered I needed to store the tiny components in a box and label them, and this proved to save time. Now, we've been chatting quite a lot while we've been building up these plates, and the problem is you can lose your focus of attention, so I thought I'd use this to check that I put the right numbers of shims on, because I might have put 2 washers on or no washers. I suppose you can see them. We made mistakes despite the excellently compiled manual, and sometimes bits had to be undone because something else needed to be inserted first. And then what do? I put this plate on?
Yeah, that's it. So the plate goes on.
So we're doing everything finger tight at the moment, although it's quite hard with these self-tightening nuts because they have a nylon inner ring. So you really need to use a spanner and also the Allen key. But we've done pretty well to get these plates up and running. Okay, we're getting a little bit confused over our XYZs, mainly whether the Z carriage has an X plate on it or a Z plate, because actually the packaging shows it's an X plate. Part of my prior research was looking at the whole CNC accuracy issue and exploring different linear guide systems or drivetrains, such as lead screws and ball screws, and the factors such as friction, noise and whipping when long drivetrains are used. With this kit I had the option between lead screws and drive belts. The latter, of course, has a tendency to stretch, so it won't be quite as accurate, but it offers faster movement and longer lengths of the machine than lead screws, which tend to whip over about 1 metre or so length. So I compromised the length of my machine and went for the more accurate lead screw version. But this whole issue of accuracy, I asked another YouTuber called Dan, who had already built the Ooznest Ox, whether he could cut through 3/4 of an inch plywood in one pass, way beyond what the machine is designed to do. But he uses a 2.2 kilowatt spindle, which I also hope to get for my machine. Well, he got a result, and I'll add a link to his video below. So we're using a combination of looking at other videos, an American version, plus following this British manual. plus the 2 minds of Bobby here and myself. Bobby doing all the hard work, of course, and me doing the supervising. But there we are, you see they're nice and reasonably free running. So no doubt I'll have to do a bit of final tweaking when we come to the final setting up. That's not bad, is it, for a start?
Yeah, I guess you could. I mean, it will need fully tightened all of these, but yeah, maybe just to just as a starting point.
Yeah. Now here's a quirky little detail. The kit did not include washers for the nuts, but my engineering training told me I should add some washers to avoid the nuts damaging the surface of the aluminium plates when they're tightened. The design is really interesting. The load is spread between 48 ball race wheels that have a polycarbonate tyre, so to speak, and each one is carefully adjusted with a cam type nut. So even when there will be inevitable wear, I'm assuming I just go over the whole lot and check for the tightness of the wheels. Quite clever really, and I think it looks great, but I'll need to vacuum away the wood dust from time to time. So all these issues I'll deal with in later videos. The great thing about having 2 people on this, and as I said before, Bobby is interested in building one of these himself, so he's coming and spending an hour a week with me. But the great thing about 2 brains is you can really double check using the right size bolts, you've got the plate the right way round, because you can very easily do a lot of work and then find you've got to undo it because you've got some minutiae aspect wrong. So all we really need in terms of tools at the moment is the Allen key and the spanner.
Oh, I don't think that's going to work.
Now these are the stepper motors, 4 in all. Wow, there we have linear motion.
Aiming to get somehow get it through. I can't see where it's going, hitting something. Okay, that's on.
The word.
Yeah, maybe let's do it vertically.
Right, so the lock collar, we've had to take the end plates off because we've got the recess the wrong way around. And it's these sort of things that you can do something and then have to undo it, but it's all part of the fun of putting this thing together. And
so hopefully it should go into that recess.
Yeah, despite our reading the manual, it's really quite easy to put something on the wrong way round or in the wrong sequence. It's all fun, all good fun.
So.
Well, it's all coming together. I used my living room to build the kit. Good job I'm not married. So I also have a motorbike in my living room. Later on I will be building a purpose-built bench for the machine, but I've already allocated a space, and curiously and somewhat sadly, the space is currently taken up by my part-built router copy carver. I'll need to sell that, but it has a virtually unused 180 watt ELU router and another smaller router as an option. So I'm open to offers of anyone locally who'd like to complete the build and take it off my hands. Now in a future video in this series I'll cover the final build of this CNC kit, which involves the electrics. They say it's straightforward, and I'm colourblind for a start. Well, thanks for watching and please subscribe.